Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. In today's video, I wanted to cover a movie that I rewatched this last week called The Greatest Showman, a musical that I'm a pretty big fan of. And just rewatching it, I just wanted to make a video talking about the movie, also talking about it's a reason why I love watching movies and kind of just talking about the experience of watching movies. So hopefully this will be an interesting video for you here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Thursday afternoon. Today I want to talk about a movie that I rewatched this last week called The Greatest Showman. Starring Hugh Jackman, came out in 2017. It was this big musical about P.T. Barnum and, famous for the P.T. Barnum circus that we all know. I don't know if it still goes on. I know it was a big deal when I was growing up, which I'd never been to the circus before, in fact, but it always intrigued me. But yeah, I remember seeing this in the movie theater back in 2017. My dad and I went and saw it. And I remember coming out, and I'm a big fan of musicals. If you know anything about me, I love musicals. Some of my favorite movies are musicals. And so anytime a musical comes out, I usually go see it in the theater because I'm always, something fun about seeing a musical on the big screen. I love musicals because I love the big sets, the big dance numbers, I love when the musical has like lots of extras and they're all doing this dance choreography and there's all these big moments. And, yeah, I just love the, grandiose of it. The singing, the dancing, musical score, costumes. Like, I love when they do big musicals on screen anyway. So I'm always a big fan of those. So this definitely hit me right where I love movies is these kind of movies like The Greatest Showman. And I remember seeing it and I thought the music was pretty good. I always loved Hugh Jackman. Of course, Hugh Jackman was coming off of Les Miserables, which is one of my favorite musicals. And he was nominated for Best Actor for that role. So Hugh Jackman definitely was like, man, anytime Hugh Jackman does a musical, like I'm in. Like I want to see him do more musicals, in fact. But I suppose he doesn't want to be maybe typecast as in just doing musicals so much. I've only seen him do two. So I'm like, man, do more musicals, Hugh Jackman. Like you're so good at it. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Hugh Jackman, to be honest. And so yeah, it definitely intrigued me. I remember coming out of the theater, not loving it necessarily, but liking it quite a bit, and coming out thinking, yeah, that was a pretty good, musical. Music was overall pretty good, and Hugh Jackman was, very good in the lead role. And I don't know, I wasn't totally in love with it though. Like I remember coming out, and like I'm not sure if I didn't rush out to buy it. I still don't have it on Blu-ray. That's the one I need to get on Blu-ray. But I didn't rush out to get it or anything or get the soundtrack like I do on some musicals. And so I was kind of in between of like, I liked it, but I don't know if I loved it. Like, I don't know if it's one I need to watch over again. But it was always in the back of my mind. Like, I wanted to rewatch the movie to get like a second, viewing, get a second opinion almost of it. Of like, is it better than I remember? Is it not as good as I remember? So it's fun sometimes when you watch a movie just once to go back and watch it again, because I've had several times where I go back and watch a movie and it's either better or worse than I remember it being. So yeah, so this last week, it's on Disney Plus, by the way. For some reason, I don't know, Disney has some ownership of it, I don't know. And so I had it on my Disney Plus watch list actually for a while. And it's always one I always look at and I think, oh, I need to watch this at some point. But, like I need to be in the right mood kind of thing. Like, oh, at some point I need to revisit this. But I have so many other things I want to watch, so it's hard to rewatch stuff because there's so many new movies and TV shows that I'm watching as well, plus YouTube and all that. And so finally last week I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie. So I sat down watching this movie. And it also has Zac Efron, Zendaya was in it. Rebecca Ferguson, Michelle Williams. I mean, so pretty good cast overall. Anyway, so I was rewatching it, and man, I was like right away just totally into the movie, totally captivated me from the very first musical number. I love it start to the bang with The Greatest Show. I love how it's directed, the lighting. how you kind of get right into the P.D. Barnum and his circus group, kind of the main characters of the movie, and how it's kind of almost like a rock number in a way. Anyway, so it starts off really great. Like I'm like, man, just really love how it began. And then we go to the backstory of him as a kid, and then we get the song. I think like a million something. Anyways, and it's a really good song. Like I forgot how good that song was. So I was rewatching. I'm like, man, this is a great song. This is not even my favorite song in the movie. I'm already like, man, the first two numbers I'm like totally into. Anyways, and as we're going on, I'm just like so into the movie, and then we get to some of my favorite numbers that I can remember. The very best one is "This Is Me," which there's this one actress I think named something Kettle, not an actress I know very well or done anything else I know of, but she plays the bearded lady in the movie. I guess I'll call her. And she becomes kind of one of the main characters that he picks up all these different people that have kind of oddities about them, and starts this, whole kind of oddity show, almost like a carnival or something like that, to, bring in people to look at these freaks and stuff. And one of them, the bearded lady. And there's a scene where, they're a bit, I love the fact that they're all a bit like these oddballs. They're a bit these outcasts that everybody kind of looks at and laughs at, or points at. And so they definitely have this insecurities about them, and how everybody kind of laughs and, looks down on them. And so the movie really takes this, I love the whole idea of the movie of this, people that are looked down upon, that they're feel inferior to. And yet this idea of like, we're not going to let that, bog us down. We're going to rise above it, that we're just as important as anybody else. And so I love the whole messaging of that in the movie of never make yourself feel like you're inferior to anybody else because you look different, and the fact that, people look different, but they're just the same as me or you, and that's a very important message to put out there. And so I actually really love the whole messaging of the movie as I'm watching it. And there's a scene where he kind of closes the door on her because he's trying to, get together with these more upper society people, and he kind of wants to distance himself away from the odd people that he he employs, basically, that they felt like they were friends, but yet he kind of shut them off to go like, no, you're going to ruin my reputation. And so he shuts the door on them, and we immediately get to this. She starts singing the song, about being in the dark, and people saying, we don't want your broken parts. I mean, that hit me pretty hard when I was rewatching it and going, oh man, that's such a sad lyric to the song. She's saying, from the dark or something like that. People say, we don't want your broken parts, and that's why people feel that, feel inferior. They feel they're not good enough, that something's broken with them. And it's like, nothing's broken with you. Just people are different, and that you're just as important as anybody else, and you're not inferior to anybody. And so I just love that whole line of her singing this very, sensitive song about, feeling down about yourself, or people want to make you feel down about yourself. And, and people don't want you because of the way you look or the way you, act, or something different about you. And so people don't want you, and that feeling of not, being wanted, it's such a sad feeling. And I thought that song really hit me hard when I was rewatching that scene, and got me very emotional actually when I was watching it. And then we kind of they start soft, and then they kind of build up, and and the actress that sings it, absolutely amazing voice. I mean, she starts taking these really incredible high notes and big notes in the song. And it's like, man, and as I was building up, I'm like, man, this song is so good. And I'm getting like so emotionally involved in the song, and I'm like, tearing up, listening to it, and the whole messaging behind the song itself. And they're starting to dance, and the song is starting to build up, and they're talking about, we're not going to let them get us down because we are glorious, and when people shoot us down, all this, in the end, it's, this is me, like, I can't change who I am. This is me. And, not feeling, yeah, and I've said all, but yeah, I just love the whole song. It sounds amazing. Love the whole choreography of it, how it builds up. and ends with them back in kind of the circus, and they're all dancing, and there's a big crowd watching them, and there's a scene where they all jump up, and the camera like pauses, and everybody stops as they're in midair, except for the main actress who's singing, Sela Kettle, I believe her name is, and she's kind of slows down, she's singing, and I don't care, this is me, and then everybody drops back down, and they get right back. It kind of slows down and gets, and it's like those moments, just like I'm like, man, this is just filmmaking at its best, in my opinion. Like the way they slowed everything down and speed it back up, and stopped it and slowed the music down, and the music builds back up and gets very loud, and they're dancing, and she's singing with so much passion. I mean, it's like the passion that she sings with just really gets you. It gets me, anyways. When I watch it, I'm just like, it's one of the scenes. It's one of my favorite scenes I've ever seen, and I remember liking it a lot. But watching it again, it's like, man, it really hit me hard watching the scene, and what it's about and all that. And like I said, I was like kind of crying when I'm watching it. I got like very emotional, like behind it, because the way it's shot, the way she's singing, and the whole messaging behind the song and the movie, it just really got me in a way. Anyway, so I'm watching, I'm like, man, I love this movie. Like, this is like one of the best movies I've ever seen. I don't know why. I loved it way more than I first saw it, for whatever reason. It just really, and sometimes it happens, I guess, you just get caught in the right moment. You just go, man, like, this is exactly why I watch movies. That's what my feeling was after I watched that scene. I was like, man, this is why I love movies. This is why I have a movie channel, kind of, that I do music and movies with, because it hits me emotionally. The right music, the right movie, I don't know, it hits me in such an emotional moment more than any other movie. And it's like, yeah, this is exactly why I love watching so many movies and viewing movies, and trying to, on this channel, trying to review them, trying to get my thoughts out there the best I can of why I watch this movie, why I didn't like it, or why I liked it, why I think you should watch it or not watch it. Anyways, and it just that moment, it kind of made me want to do this video, because I just want to say, and I kind of say this to all my fellow YouTubers who also review movies and watch a lot of movies like me. Like, I feel like we're kind of this group of movie watchers that we just love watching movies. We're watching them all the time. Love talking about them. That's why we do YouTube channels. And so I'd like to hear anybody else out there, kind of, if they've had that experience like I had with this movie, where you watch it and you're just so captivated by it, and it just gives you these emotions that you're just glad to be alive kind of emotions. And you just kind of forget about everything that exists in the world except for this movie and in this moment. And it's like I forget about having to go to work, forget about all my troubles that I have in my life. All I'm concentrating on is this movie, because it just grabs you. And I say that because I watch so many movies that don't grab me, don't captivate me. And in fact, I watch a lot of bad movies. I feel like I'm always watching movies just to watch them, just to see, and I feel like this is me kind of rambling, but like when watching a movie, it's a risk. There's a risk you're taking. You don't know if it's going to be great or not, but you hope it is. In your heart, I think, in my heart, every time I watch a movie, I'm thinking, man, I hope this movie is like great and it really hits me in some way. And obviously, most of them aren't going to. But so there's very few that hit you, that make you like really enjoy movies. And so I feel like I go through so many movies and I come on here and I give bad reviews, and it's because I see so many movies maybe, and so it's hard to, get me like other movies do. And so, I'm watching a movie, and a lot of times I'm like, oh, this is terrible, or like, even if it's okay, I'm like, it's okay. It didn't catch me, didn't captivate me, didn't make me just, want to do nothing but watch. A lot of times I'm watching a movie, I get bored, and like I'm on my phone, I'm reading a book, maybe I'm writing my notebook, coming up with new ideas for my YouTube channel. There's all kinds of things that I can do to distract myself when I'm watching a movie, in fact. And sometimes I'm watching it and I just like walk away, don't even pause it, because I'm like, I'm not missing anything, and go do something, then come back. I watch so many movies like that. And then I watch a movie like The Greatest Showman, where it's like, I just couldn't do anything but watch the movie and get so involved in it. and just loving every bit of it. And there's other, like another song with Zac Efron and Zendaya where they're like, they have a relationship, but she's, black and he's white, and you don't mix races at that time period, so they're looked down upon because of their relationship. So they do this whole song about rewriting the stars. I mean, like, yeah, society says we can't be together, but let's change that. Let's change what's right and wrong, people perceive us. Let's not care about what people think about us. Let's do what we want to do. We're in love, kind of thing. It's a very nice song, and I really love the song and the whole. Again, I love the whole. She's going up. She like does these acrobatic stuff, and so I love the whole acrobatics on the ropes and stuff like that. It's shot very well, and I love love the whole messaging behind the song. And you get other songs like "Never Enough" is absolutely amazing. Really great number. And anyway, so say there's all these great numbers, and also the main character, he kind of has this whole thing about um he used to be poor, and he kind of looked, the whole movie's about being looked down upon because of the way you are. And for him, it was, he grew up poor, and he felt like the rich were looking down on him. So then he always wanted to be rich, and he wanted his family to be rich because he didn't want to be looked down upon anymore. So he kind of lost his way in the movie and kind of realized, don't let the past ruin your present time. Like he kept thinking about the past when he was poor, and that he doesn't want to be poor anymore. Yet he couldn't enjoy life as it was because all he can think of the bitterness of the past. And so there's this whole idea behind the movie that, let go of the past, let go of that bitterness that's weighing you down and not letting you enjoy your life. And so I love the whole idea of, like, at the end, he finally like lets go of that, and and this whole idea, like, he just wants to keep, he never thinks he's successful enough. And so there's this idea of like, okay, I'm going to let go of that and just enjoy being with my family. And at the end, he's kind of spending time with his family and not spending time at the circus or whatever, the P.T. Barnum Museum, whatever. He's like, okay, he gives that over to Zac Efron's character, kind of takes it over. And he says, okay, what's important is my family, not, being overly successful. So I thought there was a good message there with that character as well. So I just love the whole messaging behind the movie. Love the whole spectacle of it. Like I said, love the costume designs, the big sets. Love the way it's shot, just amazingly shot. The musical numbers just so greatly done. And I love musicals, and this is like, man, I came out going, this is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Rewatching this, and like I said, when you watch the right movie, and like I said, I watch so many movies I don't care about, and so then when you get the right movie, and like I said, I hope anybody watching this can, say something in the comments about if you feel the same way. But I don't know, you get the right movie, and all of a sudden you feel like, I feel goosebumps. I get these chills. Something about it just, it just exhilarates me inside, that I go, man. Sometimes I forget why I watch movies, because I watch so many bad movies. I feel like sometimes I get a little down on myself because I'm like, gosh, there's no good movies anymore. I never find good movies, and I watch a movie and I'm so bored, or I don't like the messaging behind it, or it's negative and stuff like that. And then you get a movie that's, very positive and just so fun to watch. Of course, you want to be entertained, obviously. So you're entertained, but yet, and you get emotionally involved. Like, I guess to me, I love a movie where I get emotionally involved in the characters and the storylines. And it's about telling stories. I guess we watch movies because we love, we watch movies, read books, watch TV, we watch plays because we love storytelling, and the right storytelling can really get you and kind of captivate you and capture the human experience. And I don't know, if this movie to me is like one of those, I just come out going, okay, I remember now why I love watching movies, because I sometimes forget, man, like, why do I keep watching these terrible movies? And then I watch it and I go, oh, because I'm hoping one of these times I watch a movie and it's going to be great, and it's going to really excite me, and make me want to come on YouTube and talk about how excited I am for a movie. And it's something I want to go to people and go, hey, you gotta watch this movie because it was so great and amazing, and one that you want to keep going back to because it just makes you feel good. I don't know, I love the watching movies that just make you feel good in the end, makes you happy. You come away just, in a good mood and positive energy about you anyways. And so I guess that's the best way. I'm trying to explain why I watch movies, why I love watching movies. And so this is the best way I can explain it. But I love to hear anybody's comments, like if you get that feelings too. When you watch a movie, you get just those really special feelings. That's why you love movies. And I know a lot of you that watch this, have your own YouTube channels where you review movies. So I know you love movies as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts of that. If anybody's thoughts on that, what excites you about watching a movie? What gets you up for watching a movie, and makes you keep coming back for more. So that's just my random thoughts on The Greatest Showman, great movie, and also just my thoughts on why I love movies. So yeah, so if you comment on what you think, and just thank you for anybody watching all of this, because I kind of rambled on, but I really want to get my thoughts out there as best I can, express myself, and just thank you for liking the video, and thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I couldn't do without you, and I appreciate all of you so much. I hope you have a good day.